Our nervous system is designed to protect us. And so if our perception is that something is a threat, then our nervous system is going to contract to protect us. Sometimes if we touch a hot stove, for example, that's a contraction happens even before our brain thinks about it. It happens in the spinal cord and we contract away from it. Then we learn, I touched the hot stove, I got that, and then that's wired into the higher centers of our brains, so we know not to touch a hot stove again. But sometimes what gets wired in is actually a false story or information that got in there under a lot of stress, and we don't really need to contract, we don't really need to protect. And so in those situations, we can retrain the nervous system to be more open and be more adaptable. And so one of the ways that we do that is we check what we call circadian rhythm points. So at each time of the day, each 2-hour phase of the day, energy should flow through different meridian points in the body. And if it's 2 to 4 in the afternoon, it would be small intestine, for example. That would be 2 to 4 in daylight savings time. Now, if the energy is not fully there, then we're going to pick that up when we test a person. And if something stresses that person and then we test that point and it's changed, we can tell that the person's nervous system withdrew with that stressor. And so we might just put a light on a person's neck, for example, and that brings attention to the brain, and then the person's nervous system withdraws to that. So we know there's a big association with the neck and the brain, and our job is to find out what kind of stressors and what other kinds of factors are causing the nervous system to contract. At other times, and then we can go into our QRT analysis, find the trauma that's associated with that, and reset the brain. Other times, we're simply looking for what contracts the nervous system and just help it open it up. So we can do this as a sensory vibration tool that we've talked about, the Resi Tuner, which we're using amazingly with a lot of cases even at home now. And we can open up these areas of our hands and our feet that communicate with our environment. So that brings our energy back out into our full system and helps us not be contracted in our energy. And so I might have, for example, I might have a parent talk with a child about something that's upcoming that the child may be all high anxiety about, and I may have them just sweeping these areas of the hands and the feet while they're talking to them about that, what to expect, and etc. So it brings the child's energy back away from a contracted, protected state. Because when that contracted, protected state is not based on a truth and not based on a true danger, then we don't need to be in it, and it's not serving us, and it's creating problems for our health. So look for those areas. You may not muscle test the same way that we do, but you can sense areas of your life and different things that you can come in contact with, and those can be things in your environment, whether it's foods or substances or many electromagnetic fields, many different things that you can sense that your nervous system contracts with. And if it's not a true threat, if it's not really something that you should avoid, then you can use different tools to help yourself become more adaptable to that. You could think of the event or the situation and then do vagus nerve activation techniques like the hummingbird exercise or deep exhale breathing or many other exercises and start to rewire your system around that. One of the greatest tools we think is this, again, this Resi tuner, which uses vibration and frequency. And it's an amazing thing to help reset the nervous system and how it perceives our environment. So look at the things around you. Think about things that your nervous system is contracting to. Think about if it really needs to do that, and start looking at ways that you can rewire that. I'm Dr. Michael Winters, Winters Wellness, Chiropractic Redefined.